In my business, my job is to put a lot of muscle on people without getting them fat. And that's today's topic. It's how do you gain the most amount of muscle without gaining a lot of fat in the process? Granted, you have to train hard, so I'm going to focus on the nutrition aspect. At the very basic level, the first thing you have to do is be in a caloric surplus. Everybody knows this. It's just you have to consume more calories than you're burning, okay? But here's where it gets challenging, and this is where people hit a lot of roadblocks. So you're consuming a high-calorie diet, which means you're probably consuming a lot of carbohydrates. When you continually consume a lot of carbohydrates all the time, your pancreas is continuing to pump out a lot of insulin. When there is a lot of insulin in your blood, you have receptors on your muscle cells. You have insulin receptors. They start to get kind of tired, for lack of a better term, and you get what's called insulin resistant. That's just a couple words that mean your muscle cells aren't as good about allowing glucose to get out of your blood and in your muscle cell. So it just sits in your blood. The other thing is your fat cells also take in glucose, and you get fat. They expand, or even worse, is you get more fat cells. You actually develop more of them. So when you're having a high carbohydrate diet, you can't think of it as just the glucose is going into the muscle and it's turning into glycogen. It's also going into fat. So the higher your carbohydrates are over a long period of time, the more risky that becomes. The insulin itself is not a bad thing. The bad thing is you're in that caloric surplus and you're just pounding your body with carbs. And again, you start to get insulin resistant. Now, you've probably had this happen. Let me explain how you know it's happening. So let's say you're training, you're getting great pumps. Your carbs are probably preferentially going into your muscle as you train. But let's say after a while, all of a sudden your pumps aren't as good. Have you ever had that happen? It comes out of nowhere. And then you start to look and you're starting to get softer. Those are indications that all of a sudden your body is saying, hey man, I can only handle so many calories for so long. And what we do at that point is you do a mini diet. Very popular term. And what it typically is, it's about a 4 to 6 week diet. It's a short diet where the goal is to pull back on your carbohydrates, reestablish insulin sensitivity. So what you're going to do is you're going to greatly lower your carbohydrates, maybe even 50%. Maybe you're even going to add some cardio to your plan as well. So you're giving your body a break. Are you going to gain any weight or gain any muscle during this time? Probably not. But you're taking one step back to take two forward. And that's really what bodybuilding and gaining muscle is all about. It's about one step back, two forward. Same thing is true with training. You can't train balls at a wall crazy 365 days a year. Your body will give you signals and it'll tell you sometimes you have to pull back. And then you train hard, okay? Same thing with your diet. You can push your calories. Then you have not only insulin resistance, you have digestive issues that come up. All of a sudden you're gassy, you're bloated. Those are also very key signs that your body just can't handle everything you're giving it, okay? So I want you to remember that. Think about what I described. The pump starts going away, it's not as good. You start getting softer. When that happens, I want you to pull your carbohydrates back for 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, add a little bit of cardio, and then bump your carbs back up. So in your mind, think one step back, two forward, one step back, two forward. If you adopt that mindset, you'll be able to add a lot more muscle in the long run without adding a lot of fat with it. Thanks for listening.